Maddie and Alex here from the Music Marketing Podcast, and today we're going to be talking about what you should be doing once your track is actually out. It's been released. We have just done a video or podcast, however you're watching this, on what you should do prior to release. So make sure you watch or listen to that beforehand because that one's super important. But yeah, today we're going to be talking about what to do after. This is really important because once it's out, it's not really going to generate any attention, any streams. You're not going to get new fans if you don't do anything with it. So maybe we should talk about first what you should do on social media.
Socials, yeah, that's where all your fans are right now, social media. So they are following you there. That is where you can communicate with your fans. So get the link in your bio, get some really cool posts made to attract people to stream it. If you have over 10,000 followers, you can do swipe up links. Quick tip while it's on my mind, if you don't have 10,000 followers, you can run ads to your existing audience and do Instagram story ads and run them as swipe ups. So that will help you get around that essentially. So that is where your audience is right now, and just be creative with it and get people to stream your track, whether it is your existing audience who already loves you and it just goes and streams anyway, whether you write your copy and persuade people to stream your track by saying, like, if it's an upbeat track, you can say having a bit of a down day, this will perk you up on a Monday, and have a link to your track or something like that. There's just lots of things you can do.
Yeah, I think the saying like listen to this if you're having a down day and stuff works really well for social media advertising, because there's only so much content you can create around a release for your existing fan base, because once you've shared that it's out, they all know it's out, they've streamed it, they're already a fan of it. You can't continuously just keep telling them to stream. So that's when you need to look outside of your immediate fan base and try and bring in more fans and more listeners. And a great way to do that is through ads. This is what Alex does daily with our artists, runs kind of funnels, and that's the best way to do it, because there's no point just doing one ad and expecting to get millions of streams from it. You instead need to funnel down your audience to a point where you can try and get them to do that one thing, which is usually stream your music or watch a music video or buy merch, whatever it is. If you're kind of using that funnel, it seems to work best.
Yeah, absolutely. Just like, don't expect your track to fly just because you're running ads on it. You need to be patient, you need to nurture your audience. So many tutorials on YouTube on how to run ads. If you want us to do a full tutorial specific to musicians, do comment on this podcast and on the YouTube video, because if there's enough interest, we will do a full breakdown on how to do ads.
I think videos are probably the best way to do that. They create like a short promo video and put text over the top, because we find if you're putting text that's relevant to the person you're targeting, they're a lot more likely to stop. Because when you're on Instagram now, when you're scrolling, there's just so much rubbish. There's so many ads that are like on your newsfeed, and you're just thinking, why is this here? And it's such a straight up ad trying to sell you something that you just keep scrolling. Whereas with musicians, you can be a bit more creative with it, because you're not really trying to sell something. You're trying to get a stream, you're trying to get views, you're trying to get a fan. You can be more creative with it. So you can do videos saying, are you a fan of, and then target people that are fans of those artists. You can target location, you can target, anything that you find relevant to your music.
People treat ads on social media like it's a billboard, like you can't change it, like you can't influence who sees it. Social media, you could run 100 different ads, different text, different images to different people, and you could have a combination of literally thousands and thousands of different ads. Obviously you're not going to do that, but you could have a combination of say 50 ads, all going to say, are you based in Manchester? Then you might like this band who's coming to Manchester in 2 weeks time, here's their new release. And it is something a lot more just different and interesting, and will make people stop scrolling and take notice.
I think another good platform for new releases is Reddit. So this is something you can do as soon as the track is out. You can either post your YouTube video, you can post the Spotify link, the SoundCloud link. There's loads of different subreddits that are relevant to music, relevant to different genres, relevant to music videos. Just find the ones that are relevant to your music and make sure you're following the rules, because sometimes your music can get taken down if it doesn't. But we found it can be really successful to some people. Others, it just flops and it doesn't get any views. But there are some that it does so well with, and people properly engage with it and end up being lifelong fans of that artist through it. So that's definitely something that can be beneficial for a brand new release. But I think
And
one that...
get all your friends to upvote it as soon as you go on Reddit. Like the first hour of when you put your track onto Reddit is so vital.
Do you want to explain how it works?
Yeah, I mean, Reddit is a platform where you upload a link. Their slogan is it's the front page of the internet. So people submit links and people vote up or down on whether it's relevant or good information. And if people in music subreddits, it's all divided up into categories. So if you go into a music-based subreddit such as Listen to This and you put a good track on there, people will upvote it. You can end up having someone being a bit savage and you only get one vote to start with. And if someone downvotes you in the first 5 minutes, you're kind of screwed and you can't recover from that. So get your friends to get on Reddit and upvote your track.
I think one that probably a lot of people want to hear about is getting onto Spotify playlists. If you saw our other video or listened to our other podcasts about pre-release, we explained how to fill in the Spotify for Artists form, and that's the best way to reach the editors. And on release day, the only ones that are really updated are the New Music Fridays. And as an emerging artist, don't worry too much if you're not added to that, because it's a really difficult one. We've probably got a handful of artists on it before, and if you see them compared to the other artists, it's quite quite a difference. There's a lot of major artists, and then they kind of put in a few independent artists. So don't be too worried if you don't get added to New Music Friday. We've had artists added to officials like 8 weeks after release because the algorithms naturally picked it up. But
or you get picked up by a playlist which is not refreshed that often. So it could be refreshed every 3 months.
Especially the regional ones, like the Irish ones, the Scottish ones, they're hardly refreshed. It's about once a month, once every other month. So really don't get disheartened if you haven't been added on release day. But what do you think they can do to get the streams up kind of after the release?
There's always user curated playlists as well. So there are so many blog networks out there. You can use Submit Hub, which I think we'll go into in a second after this as well, to get on Spotify playlists. You can also use various other pitching platforms. You can do it yourself by simply finding playlists that are similar to your vibe, will fit your genre, and you can match up the person's name with their name on Facebook and just drop them a really nice message saying, I know this is annoying, but please do listen to my track. We do have a full blog post on pitching to user curated playlists, so just Google how to get added to Spotify playlists and just click our link, and it's a full breakdown of how to pitch to these guys. And it could be the make or break for your track. Just getting added to a few playlists will trigger the algorithm, and you'll get added to Discover Weekly playlists on Spotify, and you can get millions of streams.
Yeah, I do kind of want to talk about though how streams shouldn't be an artist's obsession. We very often find that musicians are so obsessed with streams that they're not looking at the engagement they have with their fans. So they've only got 100 followers on Instagram and they're getting no real interaction. No one's DMing them, no one's commenting on anything, but they've got 1 million streams and they think that that's fine. But if you go to play a gig, you're going to have an empty room. Streams don't equal fans. Streams, at the end of the day, should be used to get fans. They shouldn't be your whole fan base, because it's not fans. And this happens a lot more often now because there are so many fake playlists out there.
And we know so many bands who've got legit streams and millions of streams, and they've actually broken up and given up. They didn't get anywhere. They didn't sell tickets to their gigs. Streams on everything. Yes,
so the streams should obviously be a focus for you because that's how people are listening to your music. But I think the real way of judging the success of your release is seeing the engagement, seeing people engaging with you, usually on social media, DMing you saying that they love the track, they've become a fan of you from this track, all things like that show that people are actually listening to it. Because if you put all your eggs in one basket and focus on Spotify, what are you going to do if Spotify suddenly just no longer not gonna be around anymore, which could be an option. They're not profiting.
Treat your fans like people, not numbers. They're not just numbers. These streams aren't just numbers. They are people, and you need to treat them like people, because it's social media is social. It needs to be a relationship. If you've got a mailing list on MailChimp, then get your track out to them. Send them a personal message that is just something that is linking your track. You don't even need to make one of those fancy mailing list MailChimp type HTML emails. You can just write a good message about your journey as an artist, and this is where the track this is the track that you've released that's kind of your point in your journey, and that might entice people more to read it and click the link.
So do you think mailing lists are still important?
I do, yeah. What I love about mailing lists is they're not going anywhere, and I'd say about like 2 years ago I didn't used to, but the more I've used them, the more I can see the value in them, and they do get you streams. And as soon as you release the track, that first 24 hours is so important, and you can use your mailing list just to make people aware of it straight away. And if people like flock to like TikTok or Snapchat, or whether Instagram dies, just like MySpace did, you've always got that mailing list where people can come and find you and keep following you.
I think also because people so easily unsubscribe from emails, if they choose to subscribe to your mailing list, that means they're most probably going to open every single one of your emails. Unlike Instagram, where it's so easy to follow someone, it's so easy to just scroll past them. If they're not subscribed to that many mailing lists and one of your emails comes into their email box, they're most likely to read it. So you can put anything you want in front of them, whether that's an announcement of a track, announcement of a gig, announcement of new merch. So you know you've got a legitimate audience there actually taking in your content. So yeah, I think mailing lists are good. I think it's just quite difficult to get people to subscribe.
One of the things you're quite hot on as well as influencers as well, like using other people's platforms and other people's followers to get your track out there. And it's just like, there's so many different options for influencers and ways to get your track out there. I don't know if you want to go into that.
Yeah, I mean, we are hot on Instagram influencers at the moment just because there's so many of them and it's really simple to do. There's two routes you can go down. You can either be looking at paid placement, or you could be look at just getting your track placed in their videos, sort of like Sync, but in Instagram videos. We'll start with the one that's free because I feel like that's one that everyone will probably prefer. Basically, what you can do is you can find Instagram accounts that use music and your style of music, and they will place your track in the video, and then they'll tag you in the description. The hardest part of this is finding Instagram accounts that actually suit your musical style. One that influencers that we work with a lot are makeup accounts, because they use pop, EDM, dance, that kind of music in the background. So if that's your genre, definitely look at makeup artists. But if you're rock, you might look at kind of biker channels or tattoo channels. Find what channels are relevant to your music and then just start DMing.
And if you're struggling to get these people to take you seriously and they're not taking your music, using it, consider finding, say, biker channels and creating content that they can post on their stories or as a main post, and put your music on it for them. There's always people out there looking for content. Everyone with a social media account is looking for content to post that is unique to them. And if you send them content that is relevant, it's cool, it's well edited, and it's got your music in it, and they can use it for free, they'll give you a shout out.
Yeah, I think the best way to find them is just by using hashtags. So if you want to go out to makeup artists, you would literally put hashtag makeup, or you'd put hashtag foundation, hashtag makeup routine, anything that's relevant to it, and just spend some time finding these accounts, listening to the music they use in their videos. And then the DM is really, really simple. You basically just say, hi so-and-so, I've been watching your content, I noticed you use music, I have a track that could be relevant. You can listen to it here. Let me know if you want me to send you the MP3, and that's literally it. And they so often just want some music to have in the background, and it's the same for YouTube. We found massive success with this one, pitching to major YouTubers to use your track. But the only thing that you need to do in return is you need to make sure you've opted out of YouTube Content ID. And this one is completely your shout, because it means you won't be collecting money, because they need royalty-free music. But instead of the money, you're getting the promotion in return, which I think is worth it.
And yeah, as we make YouTube videos and we have music in the background of our videos, and I couldn't tell you how difficult it is to find royalty-free music. And if someone sends us an email saying, here's some royalty-free music, it is like a godsend. It's amazing to be able to, and we will listen to it and consider it. Just for a constant beat, whether you send them the actual track, whether you send them the instrumental and say, you can use this instrumental, but please give me a shout out in the description and also on your social media. That works so well as well. So these people are hungry for it, and just go use them. It's so easy to get in touch.
We found a few of the YouTubers that we work with. One of them, for example, has 1.5 million subscribers, and she takes a lot of our indie pop artists, and she has Spotify playlists as well. And because she has such a dedicated fan base, the playlists get really good streams, and they're legitimate streams. So that can also work really well. And a lot of them will edit their YouTube videos into Instagram videos, so you end up getting the YouTube fan base listening to your music as well as their Instagram followers listening to your music. So overall, it's just getting such good exposure, and it's really easy to do. It's just a bit time consuming. So if you dedicate the time, you do get new listeners from it. But should we talk about the paid placement as well? Because you've started doing that more recently.
Yeah, I mean, paid placement, it's an incredibly useful thing to do, because what you're doing is just paying the artist to give you a shout out. The advantage of this is you have a bit more control over what the influencer will give you a shout out for. So if you don't like what they are going to do for you, then you can say, no, I want something different before I pay for that, and they'll send you a different proposal. And all you have to do is just DM them, and all these guys, they usually have prices, and they will give you a swipe up to your track. They will tag you and give you a shout out, and they still have to like the music. They won't just shout out any music. So don't be offended if someone just doesn't like your track or turns you down. Just keep going and finding someone right for you. Make sure their engagement is real. There are so many fake followers out there, fake likes, fake comments, and they will charge you for a shout out into oblivion. It will go nowhere. So before you pay, have a look at their engagement, follow them, and see what their engagement is like on their next 3 posts. If the posts have no engagement as soon as they get uploaded, and then suddenly 300 comments come 3 hours later, chances are it's fake engagement. So get to know them first, figure out whether it's real, and just invest wisely.
Yeah, I also think make sure that their audience is your target audience. So if you want, if your music you think is fitting for teenage girls, then you probably want to look at those makeup accounts. You probably want to look at the accounts where teenage girls are. So you need to make sure that you're looking through the comments, you're looking through what kind of people are engaging with it, because if you're paying for something, you need to make sure that it's actually going to translate into either streams or followers. And if you are a really heavy metal band and you start getting swipe ups from a random teenage girl that's traveling, that's probably not going to translate into streams or followers. So do spend some time before just rushing and paying these people and expecting to sort of get something in return from it when really it's just a bit of a waste of money. But if you do it correctly, you'll actually end up getting some really strong results, I think.
I think that's a good place to end it as well.
Yeah.
So thanks very much for listening or watching if you're on YouTube. Do leave us a review if you are listening on a podcast app. Comment down below any suggestions you want us to cover in another episode, and subscribe if you haven't already, and we'll see you in the next one.